I would request everyone to please quickly switch on your cameras. All right. Hi, everyone. I can see some new names as well. So I think some of you are attending my lesson for the first time as well. So for those of you who are coming here for the first time, everyone, welcome to Glecta. And my name is Alina, and I'll be taking your mathematics session today. For those of you who do not know about us, we are an online learning platform who have been taking classes starting from year 1, actually reception classes as well, and up till year 13. All right. And in today's class, I'm going to be discussing the GCSE mock test paper 1. Now, I can see some students who are not in year 11 but have been over here, like Abdul Mukeet, Abdul Hafiz. Interesting. So the most amount of questions that I'd be asking over here would be from Abdul Mukeet. Yeah, the kids were not of year 11. Yeah. Anyway, so I think most of you would be having your GCSEs in your, not GCSEs, mock tests for your GCSEs in November, right? Okay, I would want all of you to switch on your cameras if possible, everyone, or at least be active on the text box. I would be keeping, a check on your messages as well, in case you struggle with any specific, step anywhere, you can let me know about it. All right. And I'm going to be discussing the pattern of the paper. Now, this is your non-calculator paper that we are discussing about. So if it's a non-calculator paper, one thing that you have to keep in mind is mental math. You have to be pretty good with that, speed and everything. The paper is always arranged in such a way that we have our easy questions first, and then we go on to our difficult questions. All right. So in the end, you would find the 4-mark, 5-mark kinds of questions. There are a few questions which are like, okay, from this particular topic, only this question can be asked. So I'm going to be guiding you about that as well. Now, this is my personal strategy that I used to, follow up, and I have been announcing it in my classes as well. If you want, you can follow it up. Otherwise, you can develop your own strategies as well. So the thing is, I always used to start my paper from the end, because it was in the end that we had the most difficult questions. Once I was like done with my 5-mark questions, I was kind of mentally relaxed that, okay, now I have enough time to focus on my easy ones. If you're done with the difficult ones first, of course, easy ones can be done easily, right? Without any mental pressure. Otherwise, I was always like mentally stressed that, okay, in the end, I have to do this, that, and the papers are also very lengthy, right? So in case you're also struggling with this thing, like, to cope up with your speed or something, this is one thing that I can suggest. Start your paper in reverse order. Although right now I'd be following the same order only as for the paper. Now, if I start with paper 1, there is usually one question of algebra, like it would be 3-mark kind of question, 2 or 3 marks, which is very easy based on expanding brackets. Now, it could be double brackets. If it's a double brackets question, grade 4. If it's triple brackets, then grade 7, right? This one is easy. This one is about factorization. Factorization is opposite of expanding, right? So over here, you would see always take the variable with lesser power outside the brackets, right? So out of y square and y, which one is smaller? Y is the smaller one. So you would take it outside the brackets. Out of 2 y's, if I've taken 1 y common, it's y plus 27. Now, come on, first question, extremely easy, right? Then you use your laws of indices. Whenever you have brackets, you multiply. So this would become t to the power 6. Now, this is an easy question that you see on the screen. In this case, if I write, let's say, 2t to the power 3 squared, do not give your answer as 2 times t to the power 6. That would be incorrect. All right, I have seen a lot of students doing that. Do not forget to square up this 2 as well. So 2 square would be 4. This would be your answer in case this is the question. Then the next one, C part. Whenever my numbers or terms are being divided, my powers get subtracted. So you would do w to the power 9 take away 4, which is w to the power 5. These are some easy questions, right? All right, I can see. Okay, those of you who know the answer, please be active on the text box. All right. And again, if anyone faces any difficulty anywhere, please, guys, I would want you to be active. Keep texting me your answers. All right, I hope everyone is clear with the first question, right? This one was an easy one. Now, coming to the second question, we have number of houses and number of flats are in the ratio houses to flats, 7:4. Then we have number of flats to number of bungalows in the ratio 8:5. Oh, why did I write N? It's number of bungalows. So we have this thing, 8:5. There are 50 bungalows, right? What can I multiply by 5 so that I get a 50? You times it by 10. That means over here, you need 80. For every 80 flats, you'd be having 50 bungalows. Now, how do I get 8 over here? Because you can compare ratios only when these are same, right? So you can times this by 2. This would become 14:8. And now for 80 flats, times it by 10, no? So you'd be getting 80 and 140. So how many houses are there in the village? You would say your answer is 140. All right, I can see you guys are giving me the correct answers. Very good. Abdul Hafiz, Abdul Mukeed giving me correct answers. Good, right? The year 7 students doing year 11 stuff. Good. All right. The third question is of probability. Now, when we talk about probability, there would be one simple question in your paper 1. If it's in the beginning of the paper that you have a probability related question like 2 mark, 3 mark, you're just using the basic concepts, that is like sum of all the probabilities is 1, or, probability of something not gonna happen equals 1 takeaway probability it is going to happen. Otherwise, if it's a 4 or 5 mark question, I'll show you about that as well. That would be including tree diagrams where you will have to draw tree diagrams. Over here, we say the probability of picking a blue color is same as the probability of picking a green counter. So over here, let's say both of them are X. This is X, this is X. So when you add them up, 0.24 plus X equals, plus 0.32. This equals 1. That's what you have. So you just have to solve this thing. 2x equals 1 take away 0.24, take away 0.32. Okay, I am getting answers. Blue 0.22, yes, we would be getting, when you'd be solving it, you'd be getting 2x is equal to 0.44. That means x is equal to 0.44 divided by 2, which is 0.22, right? This one, again, a very, very easy question. Then the other kind of question that you can get. Over here, these kinds of question would be there in your exam. Either it would be speed equals to distance over time. They would be asking you about speed, distance, time, or they would be asking you about force, pressure, area, where you'd be using that particular formula, or it could be density, mass, volume. Any one of these three would be there in your paper, right? Now over here, it's about speed, distance, time. So you need to just remember the formula, right? Speed equals to distance over time. Now, whatever you have to find out, right? You just have to put a finger on that. For example, if I want to find out distance in this triangle, put a finger on your on the D part over here. That's ST. So you would find out the distance by multiplying speed and time. If you want to figure out the time, put a finger over here on time, and you would see there is D upon S. So you do D over S, right? If you want to find out the speed, put a finger on speed over here on your screen, and you would see D over T is left. So distance upon time. So this one is an easy one. Over here, it took him 3 hours at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour, right? So what would be the distance that he covers? We just did distance. How do I find out the distance? By doing speed times time. So you would do 80 times 3, which gives you 240 kilometer per hour, right? Now, Lynn drove for 5 hours. Time is given to me. They are taking the same roads. That means, of course, the distance would also remain the same, isn't it? So distance is 240, time is 5. So if I want to figure out the speed, you would just do 240 divided by 5. Now, guys, non-calculator paper. Okay, guys, please do not write on the screen. I've written something in my beautiful handwriting and then you are crossing it out. No. All right, annotations disabled. Good. Yeah. Now you cannot write on the screen, anyone. All right. So over here, if I have to divide by 5, easiest way to divide by 5 mentally is just double up the numerator. Double of 0, 0. Double of 4, 8. Double of 2, 4. And put a decimal over here. 48. That's my answer. Simple. So if you want other numbers as well, no matter whatsoever big number I give you, right? This number divided by 5. How to do it mentally? Double of 3, 6, double of 3, 6, then double of 2, 4, double of 5, 10. And put a decimal one position from the right. 1046.6. That's how you divide by 5. All right. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so yes, I can see you guys are giving correct answer. Now for the B part, I have received an answer by Abdul Mukhit, who says she could have taken a longer or shorter route to Shafir, meaning the amount of time she took would change, affecting her speed. Yes, if they are not driving the same roads, of course, then the distance traveled would change. So accordingly, I cannot use distance as 240 kilometers to figure out what would be her speed. All right. So that's what you'd be writing in the B part. Now, let me come to a little difficult questions, right? I mean, there would be one question of transformation as well. It could talk about translation, reflection, rotation. This question is about reflection in the x-axis. Reflection in the x-axis means you just invert this triangle A, right? Invert it and move it down. From the x-axis, this triangle is 2 units above the x-axis. So for your answer part, you would do 2 units below the x-axis. I mean, this triangle would technically be over here if you see. Actually, sorry, my bad. Over here. 2 units above, 2 units down over here. Right? This is the triangle that I'm drawing for you guys. Make sure the length, width, and height are maintained. Although my drawing skills not very great, but this is triangle A that we have. Now I'm shifting it in the left. I'm shifting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just seeing this particular point. 6 in the left. See, whenever we are doing any translation X, Y, if I'm going right, this translation is positive. If I'm going left, this translation is negative. If I'm going up, this translation is positive. If I'm going down, this translation is negative. So 6 left means negative 6. Then I'm going 1 down, right? That means negative 1. So the value of C is negative 6 and the value of D is negative 1. All right. C is negative 6, D is negative 1. That's what we are going to do. Now coming to next part, I'm going to skip these kinds of questions, of course. Also, in case anyone is interested for a rapid course, Glecta is launching a rapid course as well. So we would be doing, some limited number of classes. And in those particular classes, I'm going to start my curriculum from scratch, from the very basic. And in those classes, I'll be, discussing the important questions, important concepts. You know that your mathematics is divided in 7 sections. Numbers, then we have, algebra, then we have graphs, geometry, probability, statistics, then, functions, vectors, all that part. So I'd be taking those many limited number of classes. And in the end, we'd be doing mock test as well. Now, there is one question about exact trig values. You guys know that you can easily learn up SOHCAHTOA, right? But I've seen a lot of people, okay, if I ask cos 30, you will not be able to give me the answer very instantly, right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, tan is opposite over adjacent. Remember a way to learn the table, the entire table of sine, cos, tan. Count it on your hand, guys. All right. So your thumb 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, this way, right? Now, if I want to find out, let's say for 60 degrees, it's my third finger. From 0, I'm starting 0, 1, 2, 3. It's my third finger. So whenever I have to learn for sine and cos, just write it in order. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this counting? That's all you got to do. If you want to learn the table properly, I'll show you the table. Sine x, cos x, tan x. This is the way that you can learn up the table. Write down 0, 1 second, 30, 45, 60, 90 degrees. Now, how do I learn it up? Just write down the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then divide all of them by 4. Divided by 4, divided by 4, divided by 4, divided by 4, divided by 4. And then you're going to take a square root. You will have to learn up these values because this question would specifically be asked in your non-calculator paper only. It will not be asked in your calculator exam. All right, so this is what you're going to do. Then you have 0, 1 over square root of 4, 1 over 2. This is 1 over surd 2. This is square root of 3 over 2, and this is just 1. Now, whatever values you have written for sin x, left to right, you're going to write the same values for cos x, right to left. All right, right to left. So you're going to write 1 square root of 3 over 2, 1 over square root of 2, 1 over 2, 0. Then for tan x, I'm going to do sin over cos. Tan x is sin x over cos x. Remember that. So I'm going to divide these values. 0 divided by 1, that's just 0. 1 over 2 divided by surd 3 over 2. Now for dividing two fractions, remember KFC, not the eating KFC. Keep, flip, change KFC, right? So we keep the numerator as it is. That is, okay, let me do it separately. I'll write 1 over 2 as it is. Flip the fraction, KFC. Flip the fraction, make it 2 over surd 3. And C stands for change. Change the sign of division to multiplication. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I would be left with 1 over surd 3. So over here, you'd be getting your answer as 1 over surd 3. This would be 1, this would be surd 3. 1 divided by 0 is not defined. This is how you're going to learn up this table. Remember this, everyone. If you guys want, you can take a quick screenshot of this particular table as well. All right. Or like I told you that you can count it on your fingers as well if you're, good with that. But this would be there in your non-calculator paper. So if I have to figure out the value of cos 30, of course, you can just, do it in rough and you'd be getting square root 3 over 2. Now we are given sine 30 is 0.5, right? Sine, that is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means this 0.5, this is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So x would be 0.5 times 12. 0.5 is half. Half of 12, 6. So the value of x that we are getting, this is equal to 6 over here. Yes, Ahmed, I'm going to go back to the table. If you want to take a screenshot, everyone, please take a screenshot. Okay, I'm just going to quickly give a reading to your messages in case I've not skipped any message. Yes, I'll just explain the table again. This is in your non-calculator paper, right? If they would be giving you on your calculator exam, what's the point of learning all these, right? You can just do it on your calculator, tan 30, sine 60 or something, right? They do not want to give it to you in your calculator exam. In your calculator exam, you would be having angles like 38 degrees, 47 degrees, and so on. All right. Okay. Now, for those who were asking me to explain the finger method again, over here, you see it on your hand. Thumb, starting from your thumb, 0, then forefinger is the first finger, so 1, then second finger, 2, then the ring finger, 3, and the little finger, 4. So you're counting it in this manner, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember your sequence of the angles as well, 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, right? So this is what you're going to do. So if somebody asks you, okay, what is let's say sine 30, 0, 30, that's your first finger. So you would do square root of 1 over 2. If I ask you, okay, what's sine 60? You've learned it on your fingers, 0, 30, 45, 60. That's on your 0, 1, 2, 3, third finger. So you would do square root of 3 over 2. The denominator always remains 2. Remember that. All right. If I'm figuring out sine 30, sine 60, this is what you're doing. I hope you're looking at my fingers as well, not just the fingers that are given on the screen, but you're looking at my fingers as well, because I've been explaining it on my fingers, right? If you want to figure out, let's say I want to do sine 90 degrees. 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. That's on my fourth finger. So I would do third 4 over 2. That's 2 over 2, which is 1. That's my finger method. I hope now it is clear to everyone. Take a minute if you want. You can take a screenshot of this one as well, guys, if you want. Okay, now I'm going to be moving on to the next one. If nobody says no, that they did not understand, I'm hoping that everyone understood this part. So moving on to the next one, let me take up some these kinds of questions. Over here, now these are graphs, right? You have to solve simultaneous equations. Whenever you see simultaneous equations using graphs, and you have to find out the estimates of the solution. Remember, you do not have to start solving it. All right, this is just a 2-mark question, 1 mark for the value of X, 1 mark for the value of Y. So finding solution means that you just have to figure out the point of intersection. If the graph is given to you, then you have to figure out the point of intersection. Sometimes you can also have quadratic graphs, and you can be asked about solutions in that case. So you see where your quadratic graph meets maybe the x-axis or maybe y equals to 2. Something would be given to you in the question, right? So again, over there also you're seeing the point of intersection. Now I do not have a very good eyesight, I think, so I'll have to zoom in and to figure out the point of intersection over here. What's the point? You have 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. So we have 2.35 approximately. If you see, it's in the middle, right? Sorry, 2.25. If you see it closely, 2.25. And then over here, this is like negative 1.123, negative 1.3, right? So y is negative 1.3 and x is negative 2.25. So that's my answer. Simple. X is equal to 2.25, y equals to negative 1.3. And since it's about finding estimates, a range of values would be acceptable. All right, so you can have a range of values as well. All right, after this, moving on to the next question. Circle theorems are really important. In your paper 1, you can have questions from circle theorems, and then there is one type of question for equation of tangents. Finding equation of tangent, that's the last question that we'll be doing over here. This one is an easy one, not a very difficult one. All you got to do is connect these lines. Remember circle theorems? Inside a circle, when you join, you're making a circle from 2 radii. That's always an isosceles triangle. All right, we are given angle ABO is X. That means angle OAB is also X. It's an isosceles triangle inside the circle because OA is also the radius, OB is also the radius. Now, an important circle theorem that radius and tangent, these are perpendicular. Right? If these are perpendicular, that means this angle must be 90 degrees. Right? So technically, if I want to figure out, because I have to work on angle ACB now, right? Angle ACB, right? So for that, I need this angle as well, or, maybe this angle. Sum of all the angles in a triangle, that's 180 degrees, right? So angle AOB would be 180 degrees, take away X, right? So we have 180 take away 2X. That means this angle would be 2X, right? That's what we are getting. So now, okay, why did it get removed? Sorry, one second. Yeah. So now if I have to work on angle ACB, you have 2X, you have 90 degrees, and you have angle ACB. OCB, I mean. OCB is technically same as ACB, so you can use any angle. You can add it up to 180 degrees. If you want, you can work on this entire triangle ABC itself. But ACB, you can work on this triangle as well. Angle B would be x plus 90. Angle A is x. You can again use that part of your triangle as well to figure out the answer. So angle OCB would be 180, take away 90, take away 2x. So your final answer would be 90, take away 2x. That's your angle ACB that we are getting. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, let me read your text messages as well. You're getting 90, take away 2x. All right, I can see that you guys are getting the answer. Yeah, correct. All right. So over here, now let's move on to the next one. Let's come on to some difficult kinds of questions, guys. Yeah, moving on. Proof-related questions, 3 marks. Now, when we have proof-related questions, remember one simple concept. It would be mostly about even numbers, odd numbers. What are even numbers? Multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if I write 2 times some number n, that means that's an even number. Now, if I want to talk about odd number, any number that comes right after an even number, right? Even number plus 1 will always give you an odd number. So remember this thing, that whenever you're talking about even numbers, you do 2n. Whenever you're talking about odd numbers, you do 2n plus 1. Now my question is about prove that the square of an odd number. So you're going to square this thing up. Try to understand the language of the question, everyone. All right. And I have told you guys multiple times about the formula that you can use. Whenever you are adding terms, you do square of the first term plus square of the second term plus twice of first term times second term. So this would give you, I'm doing it directly, 2n squared, 4n squared, plus 1 square, 1. 2 times 2n, 4n. So if I rearrange it in this form, you see 4 is common, right? So I'll take 4 common, factorize it, n square plus n plus 1. 4 times something plus 1, right? Let me say it's 4m. M is n square plus n. It's not about me representing my answer in terms of n or something, right? I just have to show that it is a multiple of 4 and I'm adding 1 to it. That's what exactly was needed. 1 more than a multiple of 4. This is the answer. Guys, if you have any queries, please ask me your queries on the chat box. In case anyone has any query anywhere, please, I'm active on the chat box. You can ask your answers or doubts on the chat box, everyone. All right. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. So you have these proof-related questions. This one is a past year paper question. Technically, we are doing past year paper questions mostly. The 80% of the questions that we have been doing today are past year paper questions. This one is from paper 2022. All right. A right angle triangle is formed by the diameters of 3 semicircular regions. I have to work on area of A, B, and C, right? So this is nothing but a semicircle, right? What's the formula for area of a circle? It's pi r square. So for area of semicircle, you would do half of it. Simple. So if I want to work out the area of, let's say I'm working on area of A first, right? Half of pi r square. What's the radius that we would be having? Now, we do not have any radius over here, isn't it? So first of all, I'll try to figure out a relationship between these values, right? So you can rename them and you can mention them as, let's say this is A, B, C. This is a right angle triangle that you have, right? So of course you can use Pythagoras theorem, everyone. So one thing that I'm going to be using is that C square plus B square is equal to A square. Let's say this length is A. So now if I'm working on area of A, capital A, that means, so we have pi over 2, right? Of course, I'm going to take half as well. And then r square. The diameter is A. So radius would be half of A. So I'm going to square this thing up, which gives me pi A square. In the denominator, 2 square. 2 square times 2, 8. So this is what I'm getting for area of A. Then for area of B, guys, the diameter is B. So the radius would be half of b. All right. So you would do pi r square, that is b over 2 squared over 2. So you're doing pi over 2 times b square over 4. So this would give you pi b square over 8. Just like I have calculated the area of B. I'm not doing it in detail, but in your exam, you will have to show it, of course. So just like I did for area of B, you can calculate area of C as well. The diameter for C is C, technically. So pi C over 2 squared over 2, this would give you pi C squared over 8. Now for figuring out this value, area of B plus area of C. Let me go back over here now. So if I figure out this thing, add them up, pi B squared over 8 plus pi C squared over 8. Pi over 8 is constant, right? Factorize it. In brackets, you'll be left with b square plus c square. B square plus c square. So this is pi over 8 times a square, which is nothing but the area of A. Now let me read your messages. Okay. I can see you guys have given me some answers, but darling, this was a proof-related question. So 1 second. Yeah. Do you have to use the formula, or can you just use an example of an odd number and apply it to the scenario? All right. So over here, the previous question that we did, guys, that was a proof-related question. Whenever there's a question of proof that odd number plus this is happening or that is happening. Whenever it's about proving, you take it in general, never take an example. If you have to prove that something is not true, or you have to prove that this is false, that's when you give an example. If you prove it with the help of an example, that's not considered as a general proof, and we would not be getting any specific marks for that. All right. What is the formula for volume of a hemisphere? There, that would be given to you in your GCSE paper. For formula for volume of sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cube. So over here for hemisphere, you're going to half it. 2 over 3 pi r cube. But over here, there is nothing like a hemisphere or so. This is a semicircle. It's a 2D shape that is being formed. All right. That's what we are having. All right. Now let's move on to the next one. Let me do some, probability related questions. Like I said, you would be having some probability related questions. If it's like in the beginning of the paper, like a 2-mark, 3-mark question, it would be of simple concepts. But if it's like over here, you see, this is like a 4 marks question. Again, a past year paper question asked for 4 marks in your exam. You will have to draw a tree diagram. Consider all the possibilities. My question says that a first aid test has 2 parts, a theory test, practical test. And we are given, the probabilities of passing the test. So we have 2 tests, theory and practical. So there are 2 possibilities. Either a person is going to pass the theory test or, God forbid, fail the theory test, right? Or if he's passing the theory test, again, there are 2 possibilities. Either he's going to pass the practical test and again, God forbid, fail the practical test. Or again, if he's failing the theory test, either pass or fail. Now, whenever we are writing our tree diagrams, right, make sure that you're mentioning the probability. If probability of passing the test is 0.75, remember that on, each branch that I'm connecting with, your probabilities must add up to 1. So if the probability of passing the theory test, that's 0.75. So the probability for failing it would be 0.25. 1 take away 0.75. Same probability over here, 0.75, 0.25. Oh, sorry, this is not given to us. We're not given anything about the practical, my bad. We are only given for the probability of passing the theory test. We have to work out the probability for passing the practical test. Now, whatever we have to work out, let's take that as X, right? If the probability of passing the practical test, that's X. So failing would be 1 take away x, because I told you that we add up, they always add up to 1, right? So similarly over here, passing the test, probability x. Failing it, 1 take away x. That's what you're going to do. So over here, the probability of passing the practical test. He's passing the practical test. There are two conditions. Either he's going to pass the theory and then he's going to pass the practical test, or he's going to fail the theory, but then he's going to pass the practical test. So we have two conditions, like I said. Condition 1, passing the theory test, and then failing, work out the probability of passing the practical test. No. Once again, what have I done? Yeah, I'm doing it correct. So there are two cases. He's passing the theory test, and then he's failing the other test. Or he's going to, why did my pen tab stop working? Sorry. Or he's going to fail the theory test, and then he's going to pass one of them, right? These are two independent events that we are given, isn't it? I think it should be pass and pass. These are the two possibilities that we have. Now, whenever I have to find out these kinds of probabilities, we always multiply them together, right? So you would do 0.75 times x, and probability that he's going to fail it, 0.25 times x again, right? You add these up, you add these probabilities up. Over here, we are given that the probability of passing only one of the two parts is 0.36, right? So if I have to, work out the probability, if I have to work out x, let me consider the previous case only, that he's passing one of them. He's passing just one of them. If he has already passed the theory test, he's now going to fail it. So for failing it, let me mark it for failing. I would be highlighting this part, that he has passed the theory test, but then he's failing it. Multiply these particular probabilities. So you would do 0.75 times 1 take away x. These probabilities must add up to 0.36. 0.75 times 1 take away x plus 0.25 times x. This is equal to 0.36. Now, calculating the value of x is not really a big deal. You can expand your brackets, simplify it, and get your answers, right? I hope till this part, everyone is thorough with whatever I have done. I have just used this statement over here, all right? The probability of passing only one test. I don't understand where you got the purple writing from, pass, fail. All right, I'll explain again. What's happening over here, dear? Let me rewrite it. I'm highlighting one statement in the question, and that's what you'd be focusing on, everyone. All right, that's what I'm going to be using. The probability of passing only one of the two parts. This is given as 0.36, right? So there are two cases. Either I am passing the theory test, not me, the student over here, passes the theory test and fails in the second test. Or because he has to pass only one of the two parts. Or he fails the first test and then he passes the second one, right? So whenever you have to calculate such probabilities, you multiply the probabilities that are there on the branches. So that's why I have highlighted it in green part and yellow part. So first of all, he's passing 0.75 times by, he's failing the second test. What's given on the branch? 1 take away x, right? This is what you're doing. Then first he's failing 0.25. Then he's passing the second test. What's given on the branch? X. So you times them together. This total 0.75 times 1 minus x plus 0.25x. This total, guys, is given as 0.36. Now you just have to solve the equation. Expand your bracket, 0.75 minus 0.75x plus 0.25x equals 0.36. This would give you, like, when you do minus 0.75x plus 0.25x, that would be negative 0.75, negative 0.5. So when you rearrange it, you would be getting 0.5x, and then you do 0.75, take away 0.36. So you would be getting 0.39. Now, this is in your non-calculator paper. I just told you a shortcut for division by 5, right? This is technically you're doing 3.9 divided by 5, right? So take the double of 39, 78. Double of 39 is 78. So your answer would be 0.78. Yeah. Somehow I got 132%. I don't know how you're getting that there, but 0.778 would be the correct answer. All right. I hope everyone is clear with this particular question. Yeah. X is not 0.39. It's 0.39 divided by 0.5, which gives you 0.78. That's the probability of passing the practical test. All right. Can you put X as 0.39 over 0.5 instead? No, dear, the final answer has to be, correct to two significant figures. You can leave your fraction in simplest form when you write it as either 3.9 over 5 or 39 over 7, 26 over 7, something like that, right? That's the kind of fraction in simplest form that you can keep. But over here, you would have to give your answer in either decimal, or you write it as like simplest form of 78 over 100, right? In that manner. All right. Now moving to one question that created a lot of fuzz in your 2022 exam. That is this particular question. This is a past year paper question asked in your 2022 exam, everyone, right? This created a lot of fuzz. Preparing you up for one thing mentally, you guys have to be mentally prepared that in paper 1 or maybe in paper 2 or in paper 3, there would be one question that nobody will be able to do. And everyone would be able to, will be struggling with. It's not like that nobody can do it, but everyone would struggle in it a little bit. And would be the discussion after this one. Yeah. So over here, Abdul Mukeet says, I saw this on news. No, dear Utkarsh, it does not belong to paper 2. This was in paper 1, 2022. All right. So over here, I have to find out the area of the shaded region. It's just that it's a 5-mark question, which involved a lot of steps. That's why it created a little fuss. It's not very difficult. It's all about trying to visualize the question, trying to figure out what needs to be calculated, area of sector, and all of that. So you have this diagram that is given to you guys, right? So how do we start working out? I need to work out the shaded area. What you can do is, because you're given in the question, the length of AB is same as BC. This is given as 4 and 4, right? This is what is given to us in the question. Yeah, Krishna says this correctly. We have to work out for the sector now. So I can draw this line, right? If I work out this sector, right? From this sector, if I subtract the area of this particular segment, I will get my shaded area, no? So that means now I'll be working on area of this red segment. So what I can do is, I can draw 2 more lines over here, like these. And now from point A, I can start by working out this area of sector, right? From this area of the red area that I have marked, if I subtract my area of this triangle, I would be getting the area of segment, right? That's what we have to do. Now, for that, we need the measurements as well. So one thing about the measurement, guys, from point B, that's also the center of the circle, right? So this length would be 4. And from point C, since this is also the center of the circle, that means this, let's say if this is CM, right? CM also represents the radius. So this is also 4. So you see that this is an equilateral triangle. That's step 1. All right. Sorry. This is an equilateral triangle over here that is being formed. That means the angle in the center over here, that's 60 degrees, 60 degrees. That's what you'd be working out. right? So if I want to find out the area of sector, because that's what we'd be doing. We'd be doing area of sector, take away area of triangle to get the area of segment, isn't it? So which particular sector are we talking about? This blue sector. Which triangle am I talking about? This red triangle. Let me not mark it, otherwise it would get very messy, right? So over here for area of the sector, let me highlight it in blue, in this part. Theta over 360 times pi r squared. So that means 60 over 360 times pi times radius square, that is 4 square. So when you simplify it, 0, 0 crossed out, 6 over 36, 1 over 6. 16 over 6, that's 8 over 3 pi. All right, that's how I'm getting the area of sector. Then area of triangle. You can simply use half AB sine C. I'm using these formulas. Area of sector is theta over 360 times pi r square, and area of triangle, that's half AB sine C. So over here, half A times B, you have 4 times 4 times sine 60. Now see, I just told you how you can learn up sine 60. If in the paper you write something other than theta, would you lose marks? No, dear. You can simply write x over 360 times pi r square by taking your angle as x as well. This is just for your application that, understanding that I have mentioned theta. Otherwise, you can use any particular thing in the formula. I find the paperwork, write something other than the answer. Okay. You deleted the question. I was reading it out. Anyway, never mind. Okay, so coming back over here, if I solve this one, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Sine 60. Count it on your fingers. 0, 30, 45, 60. Third finger, that means square root of 3 over 2, right? So this is square root of 3 over 2. Cross, cross. You're just left with 4 on the top and third 3 on the top. This gives us the area of the segment. Now, if I want to work out the shaded area, everyone, all you got to do is you have 2 sectors now, right? On the top of line AB and on the bottom of line AB. So 2 sectors minus these 4 segments that you have. What 4 segments am I talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you got to do. So you would be doing 2 times 8 over 3 pi. That's what the blue part represents. Minus 4 times for segment. This is the entire thing that represents the area of segment. So 8 over 3 pi minus 4 third 3. That's what you're going to solve. Expand the brackets. 2 times 8, 16 pi over 3 minus 32 pi over 3 minus 16, minus plus 16 third 3. So you get your answer as 16 third 3 minus 16 over 3 pi and centimeter square. Yeah, this is my final answer. Simple. Not simple, I mean. Sorry, how much marks these are? This was a past year paper question, asked for 5 marks still. I think 4 or 5. I'm sorry, I do not remember it clearly, but 4 or 5. Okay, and what part is sin? How did you use it? I mean, I'm not sure if you joined late or early, but this is what I explained in one of the previous questions. I'm using the formula area of triangle is half AB sin C, right? Sine 60, that means. Now for sine 60, the thing that I was teaching you on my hands, how you can learn it up. You can learn it on your fingers, starting from your thumb. It's 0, then forefinger 30, middle finger 45, ring finger 60. So 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So you would do square root 3 over 2. If I was figuring out the value of, let's say, sine 30, so 0, 1, square root of 1 over 2. That is 1 over 2 itself, half. That's what I am using. All right. This is one past year paper question, a good question that was there in the exam, right? Now coming to the other kind of question that we have. Like I said, equations of circles, equations of tangents, that's really important. There would be like 4 or 5 marks kinds of questions in your exams. It could be in paper 1, it could be in paper 2 as well, right? So just remember your 3 major steps. Step 1, I'm just writing down the steps for you in general. You're not really supposed to write the steps in exam. First of all, you have to figure out the gradient of radius. Now, using your circle theorems, you know that radius and tangent are perpendicular to each other, right? For perpendicular lines, what do? What's the relationship that the perpendicular lines have? Gradient of the lines, multiply together to give you -1. So you would figure out the gradient of tangent by taking negative reciprocal of gradient of radius. And step 3, you would be given certain coordinates in your exam. So you have x, you have y. From your step 2, you have the value of m. Substitute it in y equals to mx plus c to figure out the value of c. These are your 3 main steps that you're going to follow. So let me just quickly do these steps. Over here, we have the point A with coordinates lies on 6, 8. So if I draw a circle, this is my circle. This is my tangent over here, right? And let me connect it with the radius as well. The center is given as -1, 3. Then point A has coordinates 6, 8. So if I want to figure out the gradient of radius, let's say OA, right? Gradient of OA would be change in y over change in x. So 5 over 7. For gradient of tangent, you take negative reciprocal of it, right? So I'm going to flip it. 5 over 7 becomes 7 over 5. And I'm going to take a negative of it. All right. Step 3, you have your equation y equals mx plus c. The coordinates that are given to you are 6, 8. That means x is 6, y is 8. Substitute all the values there. Y is 8, m is -7 over 5, x is 6 plus c. So c equals 8 plus 7 times 6, 42 over 5. So this becomes 82 over 5. And your final answer would be given as y equals to mx. M is -7 over 5, x plus 82 over 5. But in the question, it says it has to be in the form ax plus by plus c equals to 0, right? So you would have to multiply all the terms by 5, rearrange it. Your answer would be 7x plus 5y minus 82 equals 0. That's my final answer that I'm getting. Oh, sorry. This is my final answer. Like I said, this is an important question, can be asked in your paper 1 as well as paper 2. Agastya asks, hello, miss, do you know the dates of the Edexcel Maths GCSE? These dates would be, available online. You can easily check them out online. Don't worry about it. All right. Over here, I hope everyone is clear with this particular part. Right now, you have been, you're going to have mocks in your schools. In case you guys need any help anywhere, you need me to take an extra lesson, please let me know, or you can contact the management over here. You have these numbers, contact them. If anyone has any questions for me right now, Krishna says easy grade 9. Actually, yes, we are going to be starting specific courses targeting for grade 8, 9 specifically, where we would be just doing advanced level questions. So if you think that you're good with the medium level questions, then you can, of course, go for advanced level as well. Umama asks, is this a year 11 or year 10 class? Darling, this is a class for the final GCSE exam. So this is paper 1 that we discussed. So it depends how well your practice is going. If you have started doing, the mock test in year 10 already, of course, This one is a practice class, right? So it's a like more of like a practice class. Are there any grade boundaries for year 10 mocks? Darling, that completely depends on school to school. So you will have to ask this from your school if, when they'd be conducting the exam, what would be the grade boundaries and all of that. There are always grade boundaries, by the way, right? And so you will have to ask this to your school. All right. Okay. For if in case you guys, are facing any difficulty anywhere, you have any specific questions, because you guys would be practicing more and more mock tests. We have our Telegram groups, right? You can post your doubt questions over there and we'll be replying you within 24 hours. All right. And as I was saying, in case you need any extra lesson, specific doubt lesson, contact on the numbers given below. And now I know that you have your English live as well at 1 p.m. Also, you'd be having your chemistry as well as biology lesson for paper 1 on Monday. So make sure that, if in case you do not have the link, make sure that the team sends you the link, or you ask the team yourself. You have the numbers over here. So, okay, Jyoti asks, will there be a paper 2 and paper 3 revision session as well as this? So darling, if you want us to conduct these kinds of sessions, contact the management. All right, if you would be posting your queries to the management that we want this kind of session for paper 2 as well as paper 3, so they would be conducting more and more sessions. So of course we are going to conduct it. I cannot really assure you about the dates, but if you think that you'd be needing those particular sessions right now or maybe in the next week itself, contact the given numbers. All right. When will the grade 9 course be announced? You can follow up our YouTube channel and Telegram pages, everyone. So we would keep posting about our, new courses, the rapid courses that we are going to start with, the grade 8-9 course that I was telling you about to start with. We'll be posting about those courses, the details over on our social media platforms. So you see these social media platforms, you can contact them. All right, I hope I answered all of your queries. I don't think anyone has any other question. What is the formula for direct and inverse proportion? Now, their direct proportion is, when two quantities are directly proportional, y is directly proportional to x. So you write y equals to k times x. And for inverse proportion, if I say y and x are inversely proportional, so you write constant divided by x. One quantity in the numerator, other in the denominator. All right. All right. Now, I'm so sorry, guys, but the time is up. Now it's time for you guys to ask your English teacher a lot of questions, right? In case you have more questions for me, message us. These are the numbers that are there. Text us your queries on these particular numbers and I'll answer you back. I promise. All right. I'll be seeing you guys in the next, if you're taking regular classes with me, so next class, or if you're not taking regular classes with me, so in the next Zoom live session like this, whenever we have. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today, and stay over here for your English lesson. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.